Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You got click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday here on the YouTubes. Guys, I hope everybody is having a good start to the week. The Gerent Group is sharing picks that they have. Digibyte's the only one on that list that I'm very familiar with. What's up, Evan? Good to see you. Jay Kim, glad to have you in the live stream. I'm your only hope. Well, then it's a dark day, my friend, if I'm your only hope. But I will bring the positivity and the realism here on the live stream. Kyle, good to see you. Earthwalker, good to see you, my friend. I think this is your first time back on the live stream, at least that I noticed on a comment. Hank, welcome in. And as always, Chris, always with the XLM. Always with the XLM. It's making me think that you could be an XLM maxi. And perhaps the only token you own is XLM. What we're going to do today, kind of the charts that I had prepared for you guys today, kind of wanted to take a look at the current price action on Bitcoin. Nothing super shocking what's going on. We're going to take a look at the dollar index, and then we're going to breeze through the top 10 tokens, and I want to zoom out and provide some perspective on the top 10 tokens. Didn't include BNB in the top 10 that we're going to take a look at. I could take a look at it if we have time. Steve, yes, Caspa is the token currently in my personal portfolio that I'm most bullish on. So that is what I have for the live stream for today. With that being said, let's get into it. Like I said yesterday, you can see based on the price action coming in on Bitcoin, I had spoken about this area of price confluence around $39,000 to $38,000. As you can see, we're coming down right now towards this 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour chart. And you can see the green area of support right around $38,000. Again, there are a lot of people and there's a lot of talk about this area getting filled at $35,000. And the thing I really want you to ask yourself is, again, there is a possibility for everything, but I really want you to keep two things in mind, okay? First off, even if we come down to $35,000, right? And I hit on this yesterday. There are certain things I'm going to continue to hit on. I think my return back to YouTube is coming at the perfect time because we've had this pretty big run up in Bitcoin during my absence, and now we're seeing some healthy consolidation. There's a lot of gobbledygook out there on YouTube that's designed to tug on your emotional strings, okay? Even if we came all the way down to here, the question I would ask you is, are we not creating higher lows, right? So we're creating these higher lows and we're also creating the higher highs. You really need to zoom out. You can't get impatient, which the crypto market is unfortunately very well known for. You can't get impatient and not expect that we're going to have pullbacks. The second thing I would offer you is everyone is calling for this pullback to seemingly $35,000 to $30,000. Markets do not do what most market participants are expecting. I try to stay very closely engaged with what the chatter is on Twitter, what the chatter is on YouTube. There are YouTube videos that I commonly will kind of check in on, and it's not necessarily because I place a lot of weight or value on the YouTube channel itself. It's more so because it's a predominant channel, and I want to know what they're saying on that channel because there's a lot of ears on what is being regurgitated on that channel, right? I want to stay very well informed, and I think it's smart to do so, okay? So again, could we get a pullback to these lower levels at 35 towards 32? Absolutely, we could. I don't think it's going to happen, though. And the predominant reason I don't think it's going to happen is because most market participants are waiting for those levels. What wouldn't surprise me is to see some price wicks in this area before a rebound ultimately going up. Keep in mind, like I said, The historical significance on this 12-hour chart is there, and I've spoken to it plenty of times in the past on my YouTube channel. I'm not expecting significant downside here towards 30,000. What would happen on the 12-hour chart if that were to occur? We would begin to get a death cross on the 12-hour. Okay, we'd get the 50 simple moving average crossing below the 200 simple moving average. I just don't see that happening. Again, could it happen? Absolutely, but I don't see it happening. There was one other point I wanted to make in there about this move down. Whatever happens, this is the short term, and where I'm going with this is I want to zoom out with you guys and not lose picture on lose the big picture, high time frame perspective. Okay, this is a monthly chart. Now, this is a very unique chart. This is one where I took 3 indicators a few technical analysts have spoken to in the past, including myself, most of which including myself. But I wanted to combine the power of all 3 indicators and say when all 3 flash bullish, what has historically happened in the market. So we're looking at the Vortex indicator, the Traders Dynamic Index, as well as the ADX and DI indicators on the monthly time frame. And, I've gone through this in the past. I'm not going to hit on each indicator. But when we have flash bullish, which is synonymous with these blue circles here, or blue ovals, technically. I was, Hank can attest to this. I was more of a Calculus 2 individual. Are you working hard or hardly working? There's only one of you on this live stream that will understand who I'm talking about. But anyway, the whole point of this is when these indicators flash bullish, when they flash bullish at the same time, you can see there has been a significant rise in price, right? Significant rise in price, synonymous with flashing blue. We flashed positive here. We had a significant rise in price. That was the big run-up we had from 20 going into 21. Now, we've got the Vortex indicator that is flash bullish. We've got the Traders Dynamic Index, which has flash bullish. The only thing we're waiting for, the DI has flash bullish, but the ADX, which is the orange line here, we're waiting for it to get above the trigger 20 line, which would be our indication that this indeed is flashing bullish. So history tells us, again, we have a small sample size because Bitcoin does not have a lot of price data. So we're going to make the best informed decisions that we can with the limited amount of price data that we do have. I just want to say again, it might be a good couple weeks for me to get past this fact, but it's going to come up from time to time. Damn, it feels good to be CBG back on doing all in the charts. I've missed this shit, so just wanted to share that. But as you can see, I have this loading on the ADX and DI. Technically, the DI has fired bullish, but we're waiting for this ADX, and I'll quick hone in on it. We just want, as you can see on the DI, the green is above 20, the red is below 20, which is great. But we want this ADX right here. We just want it to turn up. So we're going to have to wait until the end of the month here to see how things look. Of course, let's take a look and see when the month closes out here. Okay, so we have a monthly close that is set to close next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So perhaps what I could consider doing is changing up the time of the live stream to go live around 7 o'clock that day instead of going live at 5 o'clock, and we can take a look at the monthly close together. But again, we still have crypto. We all know, if you've been here for a little while, yes, we're just over a week away from the monthly close, but these are not traditional markets. A lot can happen in a week. So if we do get some bullish momentum to get us to sustain price action above 40,000, even better 42,000, I would suspect we're going to get that bullish cross here on the ADX. So something to keep in mind. Another thing I wanted you to take a look at with me, and I will explain this chart because I tweeted this out. Some people were kind of confused by what I was attempting to show here. This is the monthly chart with Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, okay? For those unfamiliar, although I've spoken to this plenty of times, the way that a Heikin-Ashi candlestick differs from a traditional candlestick, very simplistically put, the biggest thing that you want to keep in mind is momentum, okay? Trend momentum. okay? If we're green, we're bullish. If we're red, we're bearish. Now, in this case, you can see typically when we flashed green, okay, we have seen continued movements to the upside. Now, what I have circled in red circles here were little fake outs. Yes, this was still a significant move, but we had a massive correction afterwards. Here you can see we saw a little bit of upside, and we had the beer virus, the China virus, crash right here, okay? And as I'll continue to hit on here, this was our impulsive top, which kind of feeds into my next comments. You can look at the relative strength index to confirm this. If you also know Elliott wave principles, you can confirm this. But this was our impulsive blow-off top. Just because we went up to $69,000, CBG is very unfamiliar with 69. He has forgotten in his life what that means. But even though we went to $69,000 and it is higher than $64,000, that does not mean that was our true blow-off top. This right back here in the spring of 2021 was our blow-off top, okay? So this is part of a corrective structure here, your A, your B, and your C, your expanded flat correction, which I've spoke ad nauseum about. So what else am I showing on this chart? Well, I think one of the things we need to do in the market, okay, we need to come up with a primary hypothesis, but we also need to consider alternative hypotheses in terms of what our primary view is. And as you know, my overall, actually under my primary and alternate hypothesis, is that Bitcoin in general is going to top much, much sooner than people think, okay? The majority of individuals are following the halving cycle. They believe that that governs the timing of the tops with Bitcoin. I think it is coincidental, and it actually follows. I would encourage you guys, liquidity cycles. I would encourage you guys if you haven't. In fact, I was listening to quite oftentimes when I find educational content on YouTube. I got some nice hot tea here. It's a little chilly in South Florida, especially when your metabolism's fucked up and you feel a little cold. It's a little chilly. Anyway, I got into drinking hot tea when I was going through everything. But anyway, one of the things I routinely do when I find some really solid educational content, I'll listen to it 2, 3, 4 times. And so one of the pieces of information that I've really honed in on is the Everything Code by Raoul Pal over at Real Vision. Look that up, the Everything Code. And he speaks to liquidity cycles and the timing of those being coincidental, whether they were coincidental in nature or not, with Satoshi Nakamoto when he invented the Bitcoin code with his halving date. So I do not view the halving date as the fundamental architect for this structure within the chart. I believe that the halving date is a fundamental principle in Bitcoin that made me fall in love with the technology, but it certainly doesn't dictate the chart. Years and years and years of studying technical analysis, that's what governs a chart, okay? Price data, just like with anything else, governs a chart. So one of the alternative scenarios I wanted to consider was, okay, what if Bitcoin doesn't top in the first half of this year? It doesn't top in April, May, June, July. What if it doesn't top by then? What if we go later into the end of 2024? Hell, maybe even the first quarter of 2025. And so here I tried taking an alternative view, and I want to clearly explain to you what I'm showing here. So again, this is a monthly Heikin-Ashi chart for Bitcoin's USD value. The dark purple vertical lines here are impulsive tops within the market. So you can see I'm showing December 13, I'm showing December 17, and then I am showing April 21. Well, what's up with this light purple vertical line? The light purple vertical line is technically our prior all-time high at $69,000, but as you recall, that was not our impulsive top. Even though $69,000 is higher than $64,000, and yes, that was our prior all-time high, it was part of a corrective structure within the market, okay? So I'm denoting it to point it out, but it's not what I want to be focused on. And in fact, just so there's not so much on this chart, I think some of these things we can take off here because we had prior conversations about it. So let's focus on the timing first. So what I'm showing here is the timing between the December 13 and December 17 top. That was 1,461 days. The timing between the December 17 top and the April 21 top was 1,217 days. If we take an average, again, this isn't really difficult math here. If we literally just take the midpoint or the average of these two time periods, we come up with 1,340 days. We measure from the impulsive top and we measure out, and it brings us to December of 2024. So I'm saying, just looking at this simplistic view here, and there's also, well, I'll get to that, but looking at this simplistic view here, it tells us that, hey, if we did something on average of the prior two impulsive tops, we could top maybe by, mid to late fourth quarter of 2024. Okay. Now, what's the other thing that I'm showing here? I'm also showing corrections from all-time highs. So you can see we had an 86% correction here from the all-time high. We had an 84% correction here. Now, we don't want to measure from 64 because, again, even though this was the impulsive top, the highest price we ever reached, part of a corrective structure, which was our prior all-time high, was $69,000. You can see we saw a 78% correction. Now, what I am hypothesizing here, I believe, and this kind of lines up, what I like about what I have projected here is it kind of, anytime you can get price confluence, you look at one thing, you look at another thing, you kind of get some price confluence there, things kind of line up. It makes you feel more convinced that what you're coming up with is a really, really good hypothesis. Clearly, hypothesis is the word of the day. I've used that word about 10 times on this live stream before. Hypothesis is the word of the day. You will be hearing this when you go to bed at night. Now that I've said that, you will definitely be hearing this when you go to bed at night. So what I have theorized before looking at this is it would make a whole lot of sense to me if after Bitcoin has its blow off top, that we saw a correction come down to that low to mid $30,000 range. Why do I say that? Because that low to mid $30,000 range, even $28,000, but that $32,000 to $35,000 range, that is a major area of price confluence, and really in particular the 28 to 32. So the low to mid 38 and even the high 20s, but the low, let's just say low $30,000 range is a major area of price confluence. It would not surprise me to see a blow off top and to come down and retest that prior area that was once a major area of resistance as support. Build our base there as everybody says we're going to 15,000. Your Gareth Soloways will come out with the clickbait form. Data Dash will still be in his fear porn coma, and they'll all be saying $15,000. All the meanwhile, we bottom at around $32,000, right? And so then the question you have to ask yourself is, well, if we would bottom in, let's say, 2026 or 2025 at that around $32,000 range, where would price theoretically be to get to that level? Now, historically, you can see the corrections. And this should intuitively make sense, as the size of the asset has grown, okay, as the size of Bitcoin has grown, the market capitalization, the volatility and the extent of the decreases in price that we've seen, and the extent of the rate of increase that we've seen in price or price appreciation, they've both been diminishing, which should intuitively make sense, right? So you can see 86 to 84 to 77. Maybe we see something around a 75% correction. Well, that would bring us up to a price of around 130,000. If we did indeed hit 130,000 and saw 75% correction, that would take us down to around 30. Let's see what I have drawn here. Let's look at it exactly. 130 down to 32,127, right? So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Now, the reason I say $130,000 is interesting is because if you've been paying very close attention to what I've been saying, I've kind of come up with this ballpark range on where I think a blow-off top could come in, and I've been signaling right around that 120, 130 range, right? So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out. I think the more important thing, one last thing to stress, since we've spent so much time talking about blow-off tops, and then I'm going to get into the comments here. Thank you for the engagement. It is far less important, in my opinion and experience in this market, to come up with a number or even a range, although a range is better. It's far less important to understand a specific dollar value or even range that you anticipate an asset to hit. It's more important to understand what you're looking at to tell you to sell, okay? So what price indicators, what data are you looking at that's going to help you to make an informed decision to dollar cost average out of your investment? Now, to that point, I do plan on creating a video to share with you and be very explicit about the handful. I'm going to make them no more than five. Five items I'm going to look at, and once I check the box on all five, perhaps four or five, that's telling me, CBG, you need to start scaling out of your Bitcoin investment. You need to start scaling out of it. And that would also tell you with relative certainty that your altcoins, if they haven't already topped, will be topping very, very shortly thereafter. Because money floods from historically Bitcoin into your altcoins once that euphoria is fully blown up, okay? Let me get into the comments here, and we're going to get into a few other charts. Appreciate the engagement, like I said, guys. Steve, it's not let's go, it's let's fucking go, okay? Get that right, brother. Hank, my preferred exchange to buy Caspa has been Uphold. I'm very thankful for Uphold in making Caspa available at such a cheap price. Generally, I don't go on record in terms of average price points that I've bought at and accumulated at. I certainly don't give away position size. I've never done that. I can't see myself doing that. But I hold a lot of Caspa, and I believe my average purchase price was around I tweeted it out. It's around 3.5 cents. So I am sitting pretty at the moment, especially with where I see it going. I think it could do 100x from where I've purchased it at. So we will see. Oof! Let's fucking go, brother. Jorge, glad to see you in here. Damn right I'm back in this bitch. You're right. It feels good to be back. Just for you, we can check out one of those. I don't know that we'll have time for both. But here's the thing, Jorge. I know you're going to be back during the week. So whatever we don't get to, we can get to later in the week. Real quick here, Juan, what's up? I had a conversation with someone earlier today. I need to hold myself more accountable on ending these live streams by a certain time, because I think I have so much fun coming out here and doing these, but a lot of the times these live streams go way too long, and then it cuts into my evening, and I have other things I do need to get done. So in order to sort of keep me on track with the rest of my day, I am going to be ending these live streams at certain points. So I'll get to what I can get to, Jorge, come back later during the week. The other thing I've considered doing, let me know your thoughts if you want to drop me a comment. The other thing I was considering doing was perhaps having 2 dedicated days per week, maybe like a Tuesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Friday, where the live stream is 100% dedicated to your questions, okay? There's nothing that I have on the agenda to talk about besides your questions. And then the other 3 days that I live stream, if time permitting, I can answer questions. Some of this is, and let me know what your thoughts are on that, versus trying to do a TA Q&A every day. Sometimes that gets very challenging. So I might mix up the format with that. So sometimes what you guys have to understand is right now, as it stands today, on January 22nd, 2024, but my desire is for this not to be the case on December 22nd, 2025. I still hold a full-time job. Okay, so just trying to balance everything can get a little challenging, as I share sometimes. The throat coat. Son of a bitch, Jorge. Clear theme. Oh, yeah, I like the clear theme, not the black theme. Two brain cells, welcome in. What's up, Track? Good to see you in here. Pigs do get slaughtered. All right, guys, let me get through a few more charts here. This actually shouldn't take too long, and then I think I can get to one of Jorge's charts. This is the dollar index. So let's talk about the dollar index and what's going on here. This chart is starting to look a little ugly, quite honestly. I want to clean it up a little. There's too many areas of price confluence. If you guys are new to the channel, show a little love with a thumbs up and dropping me a comment to let me know, like 2 brain cells. And also, if you're newer to the channel, one of the things you want to keep in mind when I'm going over charts, red is always resistance, green is always support, okay? And if there's another colored vertical line, let me know, because apparently I must be colorblind. But I generally just use red and green. So here, what could be playing out is some sort of a... Now, it's too early to tell right now, but I'm hypothesizing, especially where I could see the dollar ending its move to the downside, we could see a multi-month long falling wedge. Could see something along these lines. Actually, sorry. Something along these lines. Okay. But more importantly, what for me to point out to you in the chart, this is a weekly on the DXY. For those unfamiliar, there is an inverse relationship which exists between the dollar index and assets, right? Between the stock market and crypto, meaning in generalities, it's not day for day. People get confused with this. It doesn't mean every day they do the opposite reactions in price, but in generalities, if there's weakness in the DXY, there is going to be strength in asset values in the stock market as well as crypto. If the DXY is exhibiting strength, the opposite will hold true in the stock market as well as the crypto markets, okay? My general expectation here is that now you can see on the weekly we're below this purple line, which is the 50 simple moving average. Of course, anytime you enter territory below a moving average on a candle body closing basis, it acts as resistance. So, and when you're on top of it, it acts as support. So this area right at around 103.5 is going to be resistance. And we got resistance right up here at this 104, 105 area. I think a wick could come all the way up to 105. I don't see us going above 105 though. And I think we're going to continue rolling over. And it'll be interesting to see what price does once we eventually get down to 100, this 99 to 100 area. Now, not only do we have price confluence here, okay, we can go to the past to see some price confluence, and we can also go in this area here. 99 and 100 provides price confluence. The 200 simple moving average on the weekly, by the time we get down there, this thing's going to float up to this area. So there's going to be a lot of area of price confluence around 99 to 100. It is going to be a major win for us. Now, I want you to keep this in mind, and this is something we are going to look at in the coming months, okay? It is going to be a major victory for us when we see the DXY have a candle body close. Not that you don't want to look for a single day's value. A candle body close on the weekly below that $99 to $100 area. That is going to be a major victory for us because that is signaling major weakness in the DXY, which should be, if it's not already playing out, which it would be, but further strength within crypto and asset values in the stock market, okay? So we'll have to see. I am not somebody who thinks the DXY is just going to collapse in 2025 or even this year. I know you're Peter Schiff's, which, you know, outside of crypto, I really, I've shared this on this channel plenty of times. I really respect Peter Schiff's views, probably also because he's a libertarian, but I respect a lot of his views and agree with a lot of his viewpoints. I know one area that I differ outside of crypto is he thinks there's going to be some massive collapse in the dollar where it's going to go. I don't want to quote him. He spoke to values I don't think we're going to go to. I think we could go as low as this 92 area here. There's a massive area of upwards support right here that I see on this blue line. I could see us going as low as 92, but I don't even know that we're going to go that low. Remember, if your theory is that the DXY, the dollar or Dixie index, is going to collapse that low, you have to have other world currencies, that are exhibiting strength relative to the dollar. I don't want to start getting on a technical conversation, but I don't think that's going to take place. Where I could really see the dollar bottoming is more along the lines of this 96 to 94 area right in here. Maybe as low as 92. I could see that. But I could definitely see that. There's a lot of price confluence there. But more so 96 to 94. We'll have to see how that pans out. Let me get into Ethereum. Guys, this is a 2-week chart. This is an ascending triangle. You can see we've broken out of the ascending triangle. You can see we're simply just consolidating at the moment between 2,500 and 2,200. There's nothing alarming for me here. If we take a look at the price indicators, everything's looking really healthy. RSI is nowhere near overbought on a 2-week. We're sitting at 61. We're at an extremely healthy level in the relative strength index. Stochastic RSI looks great. MACD looks great. I don't know why people are freaking out. We looked at the Ethereum BTC relativity chart yesterday. My general comment was I think Ethereum is going to be an outperformer relative to Bitcoin. Way too many people are discounting Ethereum because of the moves that Solana has had. And while these moves, it's crazy to think about, because these higher highs and higher lows that I have panned out on Solana, I drew this and tweeted this out, and we looked at this months ago, way back in, I don't even want to know, September, I believe. And what's crazy is before I went off the live stream, we were sitting in this area, okay? We were sitting in this sub $30 area, and we shot all the way up to $124, okay? This is how quickly this market can move. It doesn't surprise me that Solana has supplanted XRP. I'm pretty sure it still has, hasn't it? Yeah, Solana's ahead of XRP. That doesn't surprise me one bit. We'll get to XRP in a moment. There's just been a lot of strength in this chart. And one of the things I was saying to you guys, we'll go to a weekly real quick. You can see where the other areas of resistance of interest for me are at. When we were down in this area, I said, I actually go to my YouTube channel. After this live stream, go to my YouTube channel. A video that has not gotten many views whatsoever was a Solana video that I published on... Let me quickly rattle this off to you. I published... If you go back to my YouTube channel and you look for a video published on... wow, this was a while ago. Go back to the video that I published on August 15th. Wow, 88 views. This thing only got 88 views. The title, it's the only Solana video I ever did, and I said Solana sold dead with 3 question marks. Yeah, go to my technical analysis in that video and listen to what I had to say. Now, that was back on August 15th, so we were right in this area at around 20 bucks. Watch that video, and I'll let the video speak for itself. Again, I own the good calls, I own the bad calls, okay? But as you can see, we got to move this arrow up. We've done nothing but creating higher highs and higher lows, okay? So if we kind of expand this out, this thought process, okay? We've hit some resistance at 120 bucks. Maybe we come down to here. Maybe we come down to, like, where are we at right now? 84 bucks. Wouldn't shock me if we came down to the $60 level. Wouldn't surprise me at all. We don't need to. Maybe we only come down to 74. But the point is, as long as we're continuing to create higher highs and higher lows, and look at how beautiful this market structure is in general, this thing's going to be breaking out to new all-time highs sooner rather than later, okay? I could easily see Solana hitting $1,000. I could easily, let me repeat that. I could easily see Solana hitting $1,000. Do I see Solana flipping Ethereum at least this cycle? or prior to the blow off top. No, I don't see that happening. But Solana could definitely hit $1,000 and do more than a 10x from here. XRP, why was I not surprised that XRP was flipped by Solana? Well, there are two reasons. One, there's increased level of competition within this market. There's newer assets that have, it's the shinier, newer thing. Okay, so there's an increased level of competition. And two, XRP's been a laggard. All right, there's the fundamental side and there's the technical side. I'm not here to talk to you about the fundamental side. You guys, if you've been here for a while, you know how I feel about Ripple and XRP. I don't need to explain all that. I'm here to talk to you about the technical side. And the technical side is it's been lagging big time. But some positive news is this thing is in a massive, almost pennant. Now, I want to caution everyone. This is in a massive triangular pennant consolidation, and it looks like it wants to have a major breakout. If you see anyone do this, I'm just going to, I have another video on my YouTube channel you can check out that XRP, Moon Boys are killing XRP, okay? If you follow or see anyone on Twitter do this, here's a poll, here's a pennant, and, you know, don't let anyone fool you. The technical target for XRP is, you know, going up to like $500. If you follow anyone that shows you that, I mean, and you actually believe that, and you don't roll your eyes and you don't laugh, you really need to question your intelligence and who you're following. I say that with all due respect. Do you really, just for a moment, in all seriousness, do you really think XRP is going to go from 50 cents to $100? So it's going to pull a 200x with a $30 billion market cap. Like, get your intelligence, get your smarts checked if you think that's going to happen. Do I think it's possible that this year, next year, you know, when it does have its blow off top, we're going to finally break this 330, 350, 384, depending on your exchange? Do I think we're going to finally break that area and create a new all-time high? Yes, I think that's very likely. But if you ask me for a price target, it's well south of 100. It's well south of $20. I could see $5, possibly $7. But that is me just being logical. You know, if primary target for me for XRP would be like $5. And I've also been on record saying there's so much competition. We have yet to see, you know, I posted something, retweeted something that someone else shared. I retweeted something that someone else shared, and what it did is it looked at 2017, 2021, and then what's going to come up, what's currently the top 10, but we haven't had our blow off top yet. And basically what it was doing is it was showing the change over time of projects in the top 10. You know, Dash used to be at one point in the top 10, okay? We're nowhere near the blow off top yet. Even if the blow off top really is in June, we still got 5 months to go, okay? There are going to be projects, at least one, that makes its way into the top 10 that isn't there. You know, Caspa is one of those projects I've mentioned to you guys. I absolutely believe will be in the top 20, and I think has a possibility to get into the top 10 for sure. So if you have projects like that vying for that top 10 spot, and XRP's been a laggard, if it doesn't pick up the pace, I could see XRP easily falling to number 10, number 11, number 12, eventually recapturing and getting back within that top 10. But I could see it easily falling with out of the top 10. So a couple things on this chart. One, it's been a laggard. It didn't set a new all-time high in 2021. But the other positive thing is that we're just in this massive consolidation pattern. So we'll have to see what happens here. This yellow zone, in my prior XRP video, this was the area of interest that I had marked to buy after we had this monumental rise in price up to $1 almost. And you can see we wicked perfectly in it. I mean, I had this range. I haven't touched this. The range was between 49 to 43 cents, and we wicked all the way down to 43.7 cents. So hit that one perfectly. Cardano was a laggard for a large period of time. And this is one we've spent quite a bit of time talking about in this range, okay? We talked about it a lot, went off the live stream. Since then, we made a monumental move up from 25 cents. You know, it was in that 25 to 30 cents area for a long time. It quickly doubled. So now all we're doing all we're doing on this 2-week chart is just consolidating in a new range. It's really good to see us push up towards that 66-cent range, because what I'm beginning to see now for Cardano is finally a low high, and could we finally see a higher low, right? I would call this a double bottom. I would call this a double bottom, these wicks down here. Yes, it was a new low, but I would call it a double bottom. So it finally looks like we could do something like this, right? We want to see the higher highs and higher lows come in here. You'll notice when I go over charts, there are many themes that repeat themselves. I really make things stupid simple. Like charting, while you do have to spend a considerable amount of time studying charts and really understanding them so that you decipher things correctly, it's not as complicated as you think. The best thing you can do for yourself is to keep it stupid simple. And you'll notice a lot of that as I go through charts. Yeah, technicals look fine. So RSI is actually at a neutral level in the 2-week at 55. Okay, Avalanche. Avalanche has had a really nice run here. Going to get to your comments in a moment here after I get through Doge. Avalanche has had this really nice run up. Sitting here at like sub $10, it ran all the way up to 50, did a quick 5x, right? And again, I'll reiterate this. This is how quickly this market moves. You spend all of your time. Think about this. This chart is a really good depiction of how fast this market moves. Yellow line is the 20 simple moving average on the weekly. Purple is the 50. We spent all of this time doing this, right? That lasted April 22 to October 23. This was a solid year and a half. For a year and a half, it was nothing but downwards price action, right? And in a matter of just about 2 months, just under 2 months, in under 2 months, we hit a price level higher than we had been it was in a year and a half. So in 2 months, think about it this way. In 2 months, we made up for a year and a half of price action to the downside. This is how quickly this market moves. This is how exciting this market moves. And it also shows that impatience, you're not going to do well if you're impatient. We got the low, okay? This was the bottom here, okay? Should be. We got a high here. We want the higher low to come in, right? And then we just want to continue churning higher. I got all these areas of price confluence here I've mapped out for you guys. We have $40, $50, $64, and 81. Okay, and if we look at the price indicators on the weekly, MACD looks good. You'd like to see it come down here, kiss it, not really do a deep cross. If you see the MACD cross negative, don't be super alarmed. There's a difference between kissing and getting a small little cross down versus having a deep cross down. We don't want to see a deep cross down, okay? So MACD looks fine. RSI's at 56. We're at a relatively neutral level. Stochastic RSI looks good because we're still above the 20 trigger line. So Avalanche is looking really good. There's no reason that we couldn't bottom on Avalanche fairly soon around price levels. Could come down as low as where are we at right now? 29? Yeah, I mean, that $24, $25 region is an area of interest for me personally if I was looking to get in, possibly as low as 21. 24, 25 bucks. And what I'd like to see is a strong area of support there and just continued bounce up to the upside. Now, Doge is one. I think Doge, similar to Cardano, people falling asleep on, similar to Ethereum, people falling asleep on. I own a pretty sizable position in Doge, and the reason is because I don't think for one moment that this chart isn't going to pan out bullish. It doesn't need to, but when I look at, guys, you don't need to be a chartist. What is this telling you? Like, you could take your child. I want you to do this right now. If anybody has a child who's in the 2nd or 3rd grade, bring them in front of the computer. Not only will they be able to point out the fact that a 42-year-old man has spiky hair, not only that fact, but the other thing they will be able to point out is pattern recognition, okay? Pattern recognition. All right? A breakout, riding prior resistance, a break up. We broke out above resistance. We ride it as support for a little while, break up. Now here we broke downward resistance, re-entered it, and now we've broken out. Are we going to ride it for a bit and ride up? I think so. I see Doge going over $1. Doge is sitting at 8 cents. Yes, 9 cents, whatever. It's going to do more than a 10x in my opinion. It's going to once again potentially flip XRP again. It's going to have a strong move in the market. Okay, and there's nothing, this is a monthly by the way, there's nothing in this chart that tells me otherwise. We're starting to get the MACD to get a positive cross. Stochastic RSI looks great. RSI on the monthly has plenty of room to the upside. There are other indicators I should stick on this chart and take a look at, but that's what I have for now. Yeah, so I mean, I think the important point, I'm going to stop talking now and get to your questions here, but I think and it looks like I may only have time for like one chart. Let me get to your comments. There's quite a few comments in here. I think the important thing to keep in mind during times like this, and I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to reinsert myself on YouTube, because you get days like today, there was a lot of euphoria beginning to come into the market, at least on Twitter. The masses are nowhere near coming into the market yet. But there was a lot of excitement when we were getting up to this level at 48. I either thought we had topped at this level or we could see one final wick up to 52 before sort of rolling over and getting a bit of a correction. So nothing alarming to me, but if you're newer here and you're trying to make sense of things, you're like, man, I was told this I was spewed this narrative about an ETF, and we were up at 48,000, and now are they dumping on me? Guys, news is noise. News is noise. I like to be well informed. I like to follow the news, but the news doesn't cause me to make the decisions that I make. The charts, just the charts. The charts alone are what indicate to me what I should be doing. And I'll emphasize that over and over again on this live stream. If you were to listen to the news and make decisions based on the news, your investment portfolio will perform mediocre. It will perform on average how the rest of the herd within the world is performing. Do you want to be mediocre, or do you want to try to think outside the box and do something differently than most people are doing to potentially outperform most people? That's for me, the charts work. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Juan, I probably tomorrow I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make tomorrow a full TA Q&A. I'm not going to have time to chart all these charts today. I appreciate the questions, and I want to help, but I just don't have the time today. How many calories do you eat a day? I'm trying to put on 10 pounds of muscle. Great question, Oof. So actually, I will be able to share that with you soon. So right now, real quick, my metabolism is all fucked up. I'm trying to get the right medication to get that on track. As soon as my medication is correct, and maybe even before then, I am actually going to begin tracking my calories on FitnessPal or whatever the hell it's called. I've never tracked my calories before, but I think because of everything that's happened to me, and I have personal goals as well, I will be tracking my calories for several months. This isn't a long-term, lifelong thing, but to get my diet on track where I want it to be, I am going to be tracking my calories. So once I do that, I will share that with you. I'll actually share the amount of calories I'm consuming, the time window under which I am eating, because I have begun my intermittent fasting, and the breakdown in calories between protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And I can also share different foods that I eat. I'd be happy to do that. Damn right, Josh. Hank, I don't think that's ever going to change with Ethereum. There are just so many. It is the mothership of tokens, though. There are so many ERC20 tokens. What's up, YC? Doing very well. Thank you for checking in. Doing much, much better. Seemingly every week, we're moving in a positive direction. So I appreciate that. I got divorced a very long time ago, so there was no crypto to be taken. Um, it's funny. I was married so long ago and divorced so long ago, I never think about it. I mean, at least for me, I never. You go to the doctor's office and they ask you, are you single, married, divorced, or widowed? I'm like, I'm fucking single. I'm not. You don't need to know I was divorced. There's no reason. I don't know, Evan. We'll see. I don't see $7 mid-February, but anything in life is possible. I would view that scenario extremely low. Let's just say that. It's coming. Wait. We'll see. Evan. Yeah, it's $7 XRP mid-February seems about as impossible a call as $200,000 Bitcoin by April. So I don't see either of those happening. Derek, thank you so much. Feels good to be back. You're 24, Evan. God, I wish I was. I shouldn't say that. I'm happy with where I'm at in life. 24 was a good age, though. And see, Hank, that's the thing, man. And you just learn, You're definitely not an idiot. I know you very well, and I know you're joking, but this is important why you can't listen to news narratives. Because if you did, you would make a ton of mistakes. Now, there is one chart. I wanted a quick chart. I did promise, and I don't want to, well, I didn't promise, but one chart, and then we're going to check out. And by the way, make sure you click that bell icon in all seriousness for all notifications. I'll probably go live tomorrow around the same time, but I am going to probably try that out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What I'll do tomorrow is make tomorrow a TA Q&A day. So you guys can come with all your TA questions. I don't have time to do all these today. We're going to take a look at NXRA. We've never looked at this one before. We have. So, Jorge, the last time we looked at this, you can see, because the ticker sounded familiar to me, you can see, well, what do you notice? I mean, you've been on the live stream long enough. We were under 7 cents. And the reason I know that is because all these areas were areas of red resistance. So we've looked at this one before, but it's been a bit. It would tell me we were somewhere in this area, which would make sense. It was probably right before I left the live stream, actually. We have had a monumental rise in price. So congratulations to you if you've been in this, riding this. Now, what do I like to see? Now, the nice thing that I like to see about this move, let me just point this out to you guys real quick. What I like to see after such an impulsive move to the upside, let's not even look at price indicators because there's not enough data. This is on the weekly. Let's just keep it on the weekly. What I like to see, you see this nice parabola almost that was created here? See this nice move up? See it follows sort of you can see it follows a parabola. You get my drift. Like we had this huge rise up in price. Now, what you don't want to see is a massive dump afterwards. That is not what you want to see, okay? So what I would not want to see is a rise up in price and then a huge crater down to 6 cents, right? Instead, what we've seen a ton of healthy consolidation around 12 cents. I love to see that. So there's really a zone. And I'm going to draw a zone for you, Jorge. It would be awesome if price held up. Now, why am I drawing it here? Because of the bodies. I love that the bodies are there. There's several areas of price confluence, not to mention over here. So this really, and you have a moving average here. I would love to see price hold up in this area, or even as low as here. Anywhere between 12 to 9 cents. If you can scoop some up between 12 to 9 cents, sounds good to me. Now, we got the low, we got the higher low, we got the high. If we can manage to consolidate in that area, all right, Jorge, you know it's the basic building blocks of a bullish narrative. And the nice thing in generalities, okay, as we continue on our way up, what do we have here? We have what's known as a blue sky breakout. So I don't have any areas of resistance I can draw up here besides the obvious ones you can see. I'm not going to overclutter the chart. The highest price we reached here was 19 cents. I'm not going to draw any other areas here. I mean, I could start finding additional wicks, and I could draw something like that. Actually, that one does look pretty good. But Chart's already busy enough as it is. So I would say 19 cents, right? So we're just sort of gravitating in this range here, which is really great to see. I love to see that sideways consolidation going on. We haven't dropped massively in price. Would love to see 9 cents hold. Anything between 9 to 12 looks like it could be a great buying opportunity. Once we break 19, you have another blue sky breakout. All right, guys. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to make tomorrow a TA Q&A day, so make sure to tune in tomorrow. Any TA questions that you have, we talk about crypto on this channel, but if there's anything in traditional markets as well that you'd like to take a look at, we'll probably check out. Thanks, Hank. Good to see you on the live stream, by the way. Thank you for checking in, man. Really good to hear from you. Where was I going with that? The traditional markets, if we haven't by weekend, we'll check out traditional markets to see how things are looking. It is also going to be a monthly close next week, so chances are we'll check out traditional markets on the monthly close. Keep in mind, the 31st of January, next Wednesday. I'll remind you guys, I'm gonna do a live stream for that monthly close on the 31st. We'll take a look at the monthly close together. But until next time, everybody, keep perspective on the charts. Come back tomorrow. Ask me your TA questions. And until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Good to see you.